hits the if you've been worried about AI taking your job or, I don't know, taking over the world, then this really awful situation in Iran is probably actually good news for you. If you've been worried about AI taking your job or, I don't know, taking over the world, then this really awful situation in Iran is probably actually good news for you, because it hits the thing that makes AI possible, which is the most enormous energy-intensive build-out of infrastructure, possibly one of the most enormous and energy-intensive build-outs in modern history. I know that might sound like a bit of an over-the-top claim, but honestly, I think I've got some charts here, and I think once I show them to you, I think you'll see what I mean. So this is the money that has been spent on data centers in the last 3 or 4 years. These are the companies doing the spending, and the companies that you know that make AI, like OpenAI, they rent the data centers of these guys. And so look, over here, this bar, I think it's about 400 billion. This number is projected, so, you know, take it with a pinch of salt, but I think it's about right. 650 billion. This is the money being spent on data centers right now. And I know it can be impossible to compute what 650 billion is the spending that the UK did on the whole of COVID. Not 1 year, the whole of COVID. This is how much NASA's Apollo program, which sent space astronauts to the moon in the 1960s and 1970s, cost. Again, not 1 year, the whole thing. And over here, that's data centers. But yeah, I mean, these comparisons are little random, aren't they? So let's put it into a more concrete historical comparison. These are big infrastructure build-outs as an average percentage of US GDP. US railroads, electrification, US highways. This bar here is the dot-com boom. And over here, again, a projected number, so take it with a pinch of salt. That's AI. This build-out is huge, and it all depends on energy, because this is what they're building. Here it is. This is a data center, one of the biggest data centers in the world, Microsoft Fairwater. I mean, these are cars here to give you some sense of the scale. And actually, this thing is still under construction. They're still building it. And when they've finished, it will be maybe the most powerful AI data center in the world, and it will have cost $7 billion. And of course, like I was saying at the beginning, this thing needs an unbelievable amount of energy. How much, you ask? Well, this is the average annual power use for the city of Los Angeles. And over here is where Fairwater is projected to get when they finish. This line will go up and down a bit, you know, when everyone in LA switches on their air conditioning units. But on a typical day, Fairwater will draw more power than the entire city of LA. And when you look at the build-out of data centers in a national perspective, you see that basically they've been building multiple LA's worth of power. This is the blue bars here are operational data centers, and the red ones here are in construction. If you combine blue and red, then you get about 6 LA's worth of power, or 3 Londons. Or to put it into more granular terms, I worked it out, 14, and the red ones here are in construction. If you combine blue and red, then you get about 6 LA's worth of power, or 3 Londons. Or to put it into more granular terms, I worked it out, 14 million microwaves. This is the power you'd need to plug in 14 million microwaves all at the same time. And you know what, I know that sounds a bit silly, but that's actually not that far off what they're doing. Because you know how when you run your microwave in your kitchen, it gets super hot? Well, that's the problem that they have to deal with as well. That's partly why it takes so much energy, just cooling down all those computers. Because that's what a data center is, really. Just a massive load of computers that you kind of do your work on remotely. Just a massive load of computers that you kind of do your work on remotely. But here's the funny thing. In a way, here's the craziest part of this all. Despite all this build-out, there still isn't enough space. This is the vacancy rate in primary data centers in the US, which are the best ones. Down at 1%. They are completely full. Of course, laws of supply and demand. What happens when you have lots of demand, not enough supply? Prices go up. Prices have been going up now pretty much ever since the AI boom started. But despite these prices, the data centers are still completely full. There's this incredible squeeze. And now we've got this situation in the Straits of Hormuz, which is going to make that squeeze even tighter.